Hi folks, HR Funk here with a video that I've been meaning to bring to you for a long time, and I've just now gotten around to it. What I have with me today is my Remington 1911R1 enhanced version. Now some of you may remember a couple of years ago I made a video on the original Remington 1911R1. This is the enhanced model, and I guess what I'll say at the outset is it has everything the standard 1911R1 has, and then it has some more. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to spend a lot of time introducing you to the 1911 pistol. If you're not familiar with it, there's a bazillion videos and over a century's worth of information out there that you can look up. But what I'm going to talk about specifically is how the R1 differs from the, how the R1 enhanced differs from the standard R1. And then before it's all said and done, we'll go out and do a little bit of shooting. Starting from the top and working our way down, the sights on the R1 Enhanced are different from the standard 1911 R1. If you recall, the standard model had 3-dot non-adjustable sights, whereas the enhanced version has an adjustable rear sight that's adjustable for elevation by means of the screw right there, and it's also drift adjustable for windage, and it also has a fiber optic front sight. And this is one of the bigger changes in this particular model, and it's also one of the things that I really like. That high visibility front sight is very easy to see, even when you get into low light situations. And I'm actually late in the afternoon here, and my light's starting to fade, and you can still see how that front sight really stands out. Working my way down, the 1911 R1 Enhanced has an extended thumb safety. It is not an ambidextrous thumb safety. It also has a skeletonized hammer. It has a grip safety that is extended, and it also has the memory bump down here. It also has a skeletonized trigger that's adjustable for over travel. And you can see that it has the front and rear cocking serrations. The ejection port is lowered and flared, as you can see right there. And the 1911 R1 Enhanced, just like the standard model, has a match grade barrel and a match grade bushing. As it comes from Remington, the 1911 R1 Enhanced does not have the rubber hose grips. It has these grips. I believe these are VZ, and they're very nice grips, but the one thing I noticed with them is they make the profile of the grip very thick, thicker than I preferred actually, which is why I switched it out with the Hogue grips, which I prefer. This makes it a little thinner and a little easier to get a hold of. The R1 Enhanced also comes with 2 magazines. These are 8-round magazines, again different from the standard 1911 R1, which comes with a 7-round military-style magazine. And everything comes in a nice case that is lockable. I did encounter one issue early on with the R1 Enhanced that I did not have with the standard 1911 R1. Specifically, I was having an occasional failure to feed. The cartridge was hanging up on the feed ramp, and I took this to a gunsmith, had him polish the feed ramp, and that issue went away. Truthfully, it would probably gone away on its own had I just shot it a sufficient amount to give it a good break-in. That's pretty typical with 1911 pistols. You really have to shoot these things for a while, get everything good and worn in. Now, I know there's some people out there who say, I don't believe in a break-in period. I don't for a defensive pistol. This isn't really a defensive pistol. This is a gaming pistol. And I can live with a break-in period for a gaming pistol. Again, my standard 1911 R1, I never had any issue with. I don't believe I've had a malfunction with that at all, at least not one that I recall. So that's a quick look at the 1911 R1 Enhanced. Let's head out to the range and see how this thing performs. And just that fast, folks, we're out at the range to put the 1911 R1 Enhanced through its paces. I'm going to do a little bit of shooting here, just a few different drills to try the pistol out. I'm going to start out with an oldie but a goodie, the El Presidente drill. I haven't done this for a long time. It should be fun though. What I'm going to do is put a double tap on each one of the targets down here. When I get to the end, I'm going to drop the magazine that's in the pistol, reload, and then go back across and put 2 more double taps on each target. So we'll see how this goes. And that's what happens when you miscount your rounds when you're loading your magazines. Let's go up and take a look at the targets, at what's on there anyway. It's going to be 1 round short, but we can still see where they hit. And here's the El Presidente, fired from 5 yards away. No problem keeping the shots pretty well center chest, even shooting at that speed, albeit 1 round short on that target. But I don't think he's going to be too much of a problem at this point. Okay, how about the drill I did in my last video where I'm dealing with 2 assailants this time? I'm going to put 1 round on the first assailant, 3 rounds on the second bad guy, and then 2 more rounds on the first bad guy. Let's see how this goes. I think I got their attention with those. No problems keeping them on there. Starting to open that up just a little bit, but at this shot tempo I would expect that. Still no problems keeping them on the chest of the target. How about a couple of 7-yard failure drills this time? We'll go 2 shots to the body, 1 shot to the head. I'll do this twice. Okay, with the first failure drill I managed to pierce his ear with my headshot, so I'm going to do 1 more. No problems with the body shots on 3 failure drills. I did manage to pull that one just off to the left a little bit. Like I said, I pierced his ear. The other 2 are pretty decent headshots. And as long as I'm at 7 yards, I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of accuracy testing. I'm just going to do 5 shots into the head of the target, and I'll see how close I can keep them together. Well, folks, we had 3 shots all go through this hole. That's 3 shots right there, 1 here and 1 here. So I would say the 1911R1 Enhanced is at least accurate enough for its intended purpose. That's actually pretty darn impressive. I'm kind of surprised myself to see that. I don't know that I've ever done that with a handgun before. Well, folks, that's pretty much going to do it for my range session with the 1911R1 Enhanced. This pistol is fantastic for its intended purpose, specifically competition shooting. Not really set up for a bullseye gun, although as you can see from the accuracy, I think you could do a lot worse than one of these. But for something on the lines of IPSC or some of the other games out there, I think this would work quite well. IDPA probably would be a very good pistol for that. I think the enhancements that it has over the standard 1911R1 really improve it in that regard. And it's just a good pistol, a lot of fun to shoot. That fiber optic red sight really helps out when I'm coming up on the target. That thing stands right out. Even though right now my light is sort of fading out here, I can still see that fiber optic red front sight very well. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave those below. And until next time, as always, good shooting. Bye-bye.